What's up, everybody, and welcome to KFP Special Number 7, the World Series. Cubs win! Cubs win! Oh my God, the Cubs win!
That was really good, Ken.
Hey, thanks.
You sounded just like Harry Carey.
Cubs win! I can't even do it. All right. So please, thank you for listening. And if you just stumbled across the interwebs, check us out at kfp.com, Facebook at KF Podcast, Ken Fred Podcast on the Twitter, and on the Instagrams, we're at Ken Frederick Podcast. So here is...
Don's excited.
Don's excited, wearing so much Cub stuff.
So much Cub stuff.
Did you get a seed tattooed on your testicles?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
Because it seems...
Hey, this is a big deal, man.
C-spot.
This is a big deal for me.
Exactly. Oh, yeah, on the show, we got Brock and Lance.
Hey.
Lance doesn't like baseball, but he's just here for moral support.
Yeah, I'm here for color.
He's here for Gretchen, Lance's wife, was so great to me during this playoff run because she was my...
she was your
my rage that I would let out. Gretchen would just take it and be like, "It's going to be okay, Dawn. We're going to get a run this inning. Everything's going to be all right." And I'm like, "It's over. It's over." And she'd be like, "No, it's not. It's going to be all right." And then she would lose it a little bit towards the end. I'm like, "It's going to be okay." We were our support blankets for each other. So I appreciate Gretchen. We have a new bond because of this World Series crazy.
And it got me out of having to worry about baseball and talk to her about it.
God forbid.
It's all good.
You talk to Lance about sports. But anyway, yes. I mean, I am so happy I can't even tell you. That's why I have all this Cubs gear on. Because after 108 years of this madness, it's nice to finally be here. And let me just say, as a lifelong Cubs fan, you know, I started my love for Chicago sports team as a Bears fan when they won the Super Bowl. I was like every other kid that jumps on the bandwagon. I jumped on the Bears bandwagon. Every kid liked the Bears. Every kid wore Bears stuff. I did too. And then I started liking all these other teams, and you know, they were all kind of good. Like the Bulls got Jordan, the Blackhawks got Jeremy Roenick. There was always something to like, and the Cubs were always bad. And I kind of had it in my head like they're never going to win, so it's just fun to love them. They were the lovable losers. It was like, they don't ever win. I remember my grandfather sitting down with me going, I was like 12 years old. He's like, you know, the Cubs, they just don't win. They haven't won in like 80 years. And I'm like, okay, well, that's fine. Like, I don't expect it, you know, just what it is. And it wasn't until 2003 with the whole Steve Bartman stuff when I was like, they're good this year. Like, and then they didn't win because that horribleness happened in that game. And I'm like, they should have won. And ever since 2003, I've been angry. Like, they should have won. Like, that was our one chance. So for the past 13 years, I've just been pissed about it. And every year when they've gotten good and always made it, something has always happened. They were good in 07, good in 08, good last year, and it just, I wanted it. You know, I didn't want it for all that time. I just accepted it, and then since the past 13 years, I wanted it. So for that to happen, it's just so great. I just can't stop talking about it. I know Ken's so annoyed to have to talk about this because it's not the Penguins or the Pirates, and we always do our Cubs-Pirates bet, which I won this year.
Yeah. So,
what do you owe me again? Something we can't talk about.
You won the World Series. You're fine.
You don't have to pay for anything for me?
Nope. You won the championship. You're good.
So, Brock, you're a big baseball fan.
Yeah.
Were you pulling for them during this? I mean, you're a Pirates fan. Was this tough for you?
I was. I always root for the National League and the World Series.
All right.
That's just a given. And there's so many fans that have been waiting so long. I like seeing all the old timers there.
Yeah.
Just excited. My sister is a huge Cubs fan. I give her a hard time for it.
That's cool.
All the time.
Watching the videos after on YouTube of 89-year-old Cubs fans just overwhelmed with joy. Such a long time to be waiting.
That one kid and his grandpa was cool.
Yeah.
That was just a fun World Series, too, because the Indians haven't won in forever either. So it was finally someone's going to get their due.
I actually think it was the most historical World Series, or even, championship game of all time. I mean, you always have a team where, they haven't won in forever, but the other team did, so there might not. This one,
the other team repeated the last 4 years.
And the drama of that Game 7 was unbelievable.
I sat and watched
we'll get to the
baseball
game 7
game. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you actually watched a baseball game.
I'm off the list here.
You're off the list. So, I knew they were going to make the playoffs. Probably towards the middle of the year, it felt like they were good enough. They had a big enough lead.
Yeah.
They could have won the World Series last year.
Yeah, I mean they came pretty close last year, except they didn't. I don't think last year they had the leadership that they did this year because it was all rookies. This year, adding guys like David Ross and Jason Hayward and all these other guys who've been there before, John Lackey. They were all guys that were kept them kind of calm,
Yeah.
and gave them a little bit of. They needed that veteran leadership because last year they all crumbled. They lost that one game. We're like, oh shit,
They
we're
had
done.
a pretty tough road to the World Series last year. They get past Pittsburgh, who was good at the time,
And then play St. Louis on
yeah.
the road, and then go to play New York. It was tough. But this year they started off with the Giants, and I mean, Madison Bumgarner is unbelievable, and I was totally afraid of that
Yeah.
dude. It kind of lucked out for them that he had to play that wild card game.
Yeah, that wild card game is key.
The wild card game
Yeah.
is key. He had to play that wild card game. He couldn't play game one, and it was like, oh, this is beautiful that he didn't
Jumped
have
out
to
to
play
the
one.
early lead.
So they jumped out to the early lead, and then they didn't see him till I think game 3. He did win that game. It wasn't really due to him, but it was nice not to have to play him fresh.
Yeah.
They got him when he was like on short notice and rest and everything. But even the Giants series had so many things that were like. Nothing was going to be easy. They won the first 2 games, and they lost that one. Then the 4th game, they were down a bunch of runs, and they had to come back in the 9th inning. They were down 3 in the 9th inning, had to come back to tie it, go to extra inning. It was all drama, where I was like, it almost felt like I played.
And this game's run so late.
They're on so late, and every game in the playoff ends up being 4.5 hours long. And I'm like, God, it's 1:45. I'm like, oh, I just want to. And then when they would play on the West Coast, playing the Giants and the Dodgers, it's like 2:00 in the morning. And I'm like, I'm so angry. I'm so tired and worn out. It really is exhausting. Because I've said this before: when you watch football, hockey, or basketball, there's a clock, and all those games, it's like, all right, well, the Penguins get a lead. Let's wear some clock down. All the Steelers have a lead. You wear the clock down. You can take a knee, victory formation. There is no victory formation in baseball. You got to get those 27 outs. And getting through all them is torturous with the pitching changes and all that crap. It was torturous. So those games were really rough. The Dodgers series was all about Clayton Kershaw because he was so good. He shut him out in the first game.
I was so happy to see him get beat, though.
Well, yeah, especially how much Joe Buck loves him. I mean, my God, all the
Joe Buck was the most annoying.
Oh,
thing
he's
in
such
the
an
world
annoying human
during
being.
this
He was
entire
even
playoff
making
series.
me hate Cub players. But I'm like, stop talking about them. It's annoying as hell. I mean, when the Cubs were winning the one game, and then for a whole inning, they're just showing Clayton Kershaw, and he's going, Clayton Kershaw. I mean, and I'm like, well, get the camera off of him. I mean, my God. So that series, when that went to the game 6, because they were down in that series and they came back again in that one, they blew a lead in game 1, and their bench catcher hits a grand slam home run to put them back in the lead. It was so much like highs and lows where I'm like, oh God, this
so
sucks.
dramatic.
And then all this
run.
like drama stuff. So that game, when they're winning that game, Xander had a bunch of friends over. And you're going to have to bleep me out here. I go downstairs, I'm watching that game, and they get the last out, and I screamed, yeah! Like real loud. And Saber's in bed and goes, Donald! There's like 12 kids downstairs. And they all were laughing. They're like, your dad's crazy. Because he's swearing at in the other room, Because I wouldn't allow anybody in the room. Like, that was my rule. I didn't want anyone to watch it with me. Saber would start watching. I'd be like, I'm going to go downstairs. This is just too intense. Because I would literally walk through my kitchen and walk around, stare at the TV. I'd go sit in the living room. It's torture. I mean, I'm to the point where I can't even enjoy it. Like, I was enjoying the good moments, but those other moments, man, it was tough. And this guy over here, after every game, I'd be like, "Did you see that game?" He'd be like, "I don't watch it."
This is the first year I gave zero shits about this World Series.
Even though one of his best friends was so happy about it, he could care less. Right?
Yeah, I mean,
I was like, Ken, did you congratulate me to come to the World Series? Brock sent me a text. Justin sent me a text. Lance's wife is congratulating me. Nothing from Ken.
Lance didn't know what was going on.
Yeah,
There was a game.
I look at it this way. I go, you don't need my text to have a good time.
I need your support, damn it.
We don't have to take clothes. Oh, sorry, it's a song. But no, I was just like, I heard that they won. I'm like,
Yeah. Didn't care. Didn't care.
The final game of the championship series, though, the 9th inning, I thought for sure it was all crashing down. And they had that bad call. They got the guy on first.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, here we go. I'm like, it's going to happen. This is going to be the curse of the Billy Goat right here.
You think, like, here comes that inning again, and here comes all this again. It just
Because I think I even texted you, oh, here we go.
Yeah, here we go again. This is happening again. But luckily they got out of that. And, I mean, it was nuts. Winning, just making it to the World Series was so such a relief. You know, then when I found out that they were going to play Cleveland, I'm like, damn it. Like, Cleveland hasn't won it since 48. Like,
They both have good stories.
yeah, they both have a story. So historical in the fact that these two teams, you're going to get somebody new. And then they start doing with all the Cleveland just won, the Cavs just won the championship. LeBron James is at these games. You know, I hate LeBron James. And I'm like, God damn it, LeBron James is going to screw me again. All the time he beats my Bulls and I have to watch his shit. And he's getting me again. Why does he have to be there? Because first of all, he's a Yankees fan. He has worn Yankees hats his entire time and gone off about how much he loved the Yankees. Spends his summer in New York. Get the hell out of here with all your Cleveland shit and you're a big, I hated it. And he's getting excited and cheering. It was making me so... I hate that guy. But anyway, that game, God, I can't even remember where I was at now. But they lost game 1 of the World Series. And I was pissed because Cleveland had that pitcher, Kluber, who was unbelievable. I mean, he just blanked them like they were nothing in that game. And I'm like, shit. I mean, I don't want to face that guy again. And Cleveland, surprisingly, went with a 3-rotation pitcher instead of 4.
And that's what cost them.
And that's what cost them.
Yeah.
Because
They burned everybody out.
they were like, that guy is so good, they wanted him at least 3 times. You'd see him 3 times. So he blanked him in that game. Cubs come back big, and they win the next game like 6-0. 5-1, I think it was. That was... I think, was that Arrieta that pitched that game? Yeah, Arrieta pitched that game. Yeah, that's when he had a no-hitter in the 6th. And they looked good. They scored runs. They did well. Their bats woke up. And I thought, like, oh, this is perfect. We're going home. First of all, I didn't like, the National League lost the All-Star game. So I felt the Cubs should have had home field advantage. But you've had a theory about that.
What?
That when you win the All-Star game, I know you're not paying attention. You're on Facebook. But
I'm zoned out and playing on my phone. What?
The All-Star game, meaning that's who gets the...
I think I actually like the fact that it does that, and that's why.
All, because nobody cares about the All-Star game. No one watches it anymore.
And let's be honest, half the Cubs were on the All-Star team.
I know.
They should have won that
8
game.
of the 9 starters for Cubs?
It was the Cubs versus the American League, plus random.
But put yourself in my position. Wouldn't you be?
We'll move so I can.
Wouldn't you be mad if this was the Pirates and the Pirates made the World Series and Pirates had the best record in baseball, not the National League, best record in baseball. They're in the World Series Game 7, and you're not in Pittsburgh, where you could go, like, be a part of it, cheer on your team.
Am I taking all the same aspects of your team in my
all the same aspects? Yeah.
I would be fine because the Cubs had a better road record in the playoffs than they did a home record.
I understand
That is true.
So
I'm just saying, from a fan perspective, you would like the Game 7 to be in your hometown.
I mean,
Now, it
Wrigley
did
Field
help
was
them
so
out
packed.
because it did help them out a lot because, as you know, one of their players, Kyle Schwarber, who was injured all year, he's one of their rookie stars. He had an ACL injury, he was out the whole year.
yeah, it even helped you out even more because he could do the
I was gonna say,
DH.
but he kept giving him like his bat and like his glove.
He
and
didn't have
something
his
else.
gear.
He was able to come back, and the only way they said in the beginning of the year is he would only have a shot if they made the World Series, and they put him in the lineup in the DH role when they were in Cleveland, and he was the only one who could hit these guys. He was unbelievable, and he ended up getting the big hit to start off that inning. So I guess I should just shut the up then, huh?
Yeah, everything that you're saying is a down is why you won the World Series. That's what bothers me the most about it. So here's what bothers me.
Oh, tell me, Ken.
Put a picture of my face
There it is.
on the left side of the screen. First off, Bill Murray, because I'm tired of seeing his stupid face being all happy and shit about the Cubs winning.
You like Bill Murray. Shut up.
He's got enough stuff going on to make his life awesome. He can suck a dick about the Cubs. Second of all, I'm glad that you won. That's great.
Did I get angry on your Penguins podcast like you are? No. You can never be supportive.
No.
Be supportive. Be happy for me.
Be an athletic supporter.
All right, congrats.
Yeah, you don't mean it, so shut up. Any of your other complaints? You hate Bill Murray.
I just.
Bill Murray is a lifelong Cubs fan. This is a big deal for him. He's a genuine fan. He's not like...
You know what? I give zero about what
I'm going to
he
say it
thinks.
again. It's not like LeBron James who just shows up because it's convenient and he wants to get his stupid ass on camera and act like, yeah, when he's doing flex and shit and going like this when they hit a home run. Shut the up, LeBron James. You don't give 2 shits. Bill Murray's a lifelong Cubs fan. His grandfather was a Cubs fan. His dad was a Cubs fan. I like it that he's there cheering it on.
LeBron said 3 times as many championships the Cubs has in 108 years.
Now,
So what?
So why are you
That's
bitching?
basketball. It's not baseball. Go cheer on the Cavs. I don't need you here.
now you do realize that next week some big tall guy named LeBron is going to show up to the shop and go, you know, Don Biordi.
I don't care. You're not the one I hate. You're the one I like. So anyway, shut up, Ken. Go back to looking on your phone.
All right, I'm back.
So it comes down to Game 7. Well, actually, before that, when they were down 3-1, I decided on I didn't want to watch Game 5 because I was like, it's over. They're down 3-1. So I went to his house for Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
And I was like, I got to get out of my house because I'll go stir crazy, checking the TV, walking around. So he's like, do you want me to put the game on? I'm like, no, I'm just going to sit here and I'm fine. And I just sat there checking it on my phone. I was like, oh, God, they're up 3-1 and I can't take it. And I was like, it's 3-2. I was like, oh, let's fucking. And then he's like, how's your Cubs doing? I was like, it's 3-2 right now, bottom of the ninth. I don't want to. They'll talk to me. You know, they ended up pulling out that game. They win Game 6, another good performance. And then the Game 7, well, again, Jake Arrieta was awesome in Game 6. He was awesome in the playoffs, where last year he kind of struggled towards the end. Mm-hmm. They get to that Game 7, and I mean, I was literally sick the entire day. I'm like, I don't want to sit through this Game 7.
Oh, that game was rough,
Because it was
too.
Corey Kluber again, and who they haven't hit. How's the game start off? Dexter Fowler hits a home run off him on, like, the second pitch. Mm-hmm. And they're like, Cubs are up 1-0, and I'm like... then, like, my mind shifts to, like, this is going to happen. You want it to happen. They got up, what? I think it was 3. It was 1-1 then. And then they got up 3-1. And then they got up to 5-1 because they had home run. A couple other good things happen. And then, which I thought was a huge mistake, is Kyle Hendricks was dealing on the mound. He was unbelievable. After he calmed down after that run, he was pitching so well.
Then he
walks one guy, and Madden overthinking it, which if the Cubs lose that game, they would have hung Joe Madden in Chicago the next day. He's a hero now. They would have hung him because he overthought it. Mm-hmm. They bring Lester in, which he said in the beginning of the game, I will not bring John Lester in with a runner on base because he isn't comfortable in that. He has to start the inning like he's starting a game because Lester's very, particular.
Isn't he the one that doesn't like to throw to first?
He doesn't like to throw to first. He doesn't like runners there. It's just he doesn't handle it well. He likes to come and start. And he did exactly what he said he wasn't going to do. And in that inning was unbelievable. I mean,
terrible.
David Ross misses a ball, hits him in the mask, knocks him over, 2-run score. It was unbelievable. And I'm sitting there in the bed. I threw pillows. And I was like, I can't watch this with you anymore. And I stormed downstairs. And she's like, it'll be okay. They're still winning. I'm like, oh, God damn it. They blew this game. He ends up... I think they still had it was 5-3 at that time. David Roston hits a home run at 6-3. They go to that 8th inning. Again, he messes up again. Lester finally calmed down, was pitching lights out for all those innings. They were going down 1-2-3.
Again.
He gets the first. You know how many times Cleveland scored in that game with 2 outs and no one on base in that game? It was every single one of their run was 2 outs, no one on. 2 outs in that 8th inning, and I'm like, okay, we are 4 outs away. We're up by 3. Oh, God, breathe. And what's he do? He walks one guy. They take him out. They bring Chapman in, who had pitched so much in all those other games.
Yeah, he was spent. You could tell.
And he was spent. And what's he start doing? Walking people, base hits. When Cleveland hit that home run and tied at 6-6, I had all this Halloween candy that Alex had brought home from a school thing. I threw all of it across the room.
Oh my God.
That was all those bite-sized minis. They are everywhere. We keep finding them everywhere. They went behind the TV. I looked, they were on top of the TV. I threw all of them at the TV, the whole thing. Picked up all of them and tossed them like this. So mad, they get out of that inning, and it's tied. And at that point, after the top of the 9th, when the Cubs, they had a couple base runners, and they tried to bunt a guy over, and he did all that stupid shit.
That was terrible.
It was the worst bunt I've
for
ever
a
seen,
strikeout.
and all this crap. I was like, you know what? I can't watch this last inning. I said, I can't sit here and watch this happen, so I left. I put my phone down. I did like you told that story. You got to shut your phone on silent because everybody and their mother texts me during this game. I mean, the only person I wanted to talk to was Gretchen because she can help me through it. I get all these other people going, "Oh, your Cubs! Oh, they're gonna stay. They're gonna blow it. They're gonna do this." So I shut my phone off. I went to Walmart and I actually gave myself this kind of pep talk. I walked around Walmart and I was like, "Look, they're still young. They'll come back next year." This is all they were gonna, and I was almost over it. I was like, okay, like over it. Like they
So it's
lost.
just like when I beat you at Shanghai
Yeah,
that one night.
and I had to leave.
Oh, that's a freaking story.
We'll get to that another time. So I leave. I go for this ride. I'm gone for like 45 minutes. Meanwhile, they have that rain delay.
Yeah.
Where they were on rain delay for like 20 minutes and all that. I missed all that. I came back into the house and I literally stood in my living room for 10 minutes going, do I read about it on my phone that they lost or do I watch it on TV? And I'm like, just, all right, here's the loss. And I went to the TV and I was like, okay.
Bottom of the
here's
ninth
loss.
inning.
And I turned it on and they were like, and as I turned it on, they were changing the pitcher out. They're like, Cubs lead 8-6. And I was like, oh, God. Like, why? It's not over yet. And they have a chance. They got, like, those hopes back up again. And, of course, you know, they blew. They could have scored so many runs in that inning. They go to the bottom of that inning, and I was a mess. I was on my hands and knees, like a mess. And the whole entire time, Saber was awake. And she's like, I'm not going downstairs because I can hear him. She knew I left and then I came back. They get those first 2 outs, and then what happens? The dude gets walked. Again, here we go again.
Yeah.
2 outs. Gets walked. Other guy hits a double. They score a run. And I was going. And when they got to
Extra
1 out, I started crying. I was on my hands and knees going, 1 out! 1 out! Like, well, how can we be this close? They're going to break my heart again. And, you know, they brought in my boy Mike Montgomery, who I thought was awesome the entire playoffs. And he got that line out. And even that play looked like it was something bad was going to happen because Chris Bryant slips while he's doing it and he throws the ball to first. And I was so overrun with emotions that I fell to the ground and was crying. And I had my hands over my head like this on the floor. And she came running down the steps. And the first thing she said was, "Are you crying?" And I said, "Yes, God damn it, leave me alone. I'm allowed to cry. I'm overrun with emotion."
And then immediately tagged all of us on
Yeah,
Facebook
yeah.
making fun of you.
My husband is.
Yeah, and then tags off me on Facebook that making fun of me. But it was so great. It was so amazing. I mean, the reaction was unbelievable. It just felt. You know how many times I watched that play over and over too, and every time I get a little nervous that he's not going to make the play. I'm like, they already won. Stop getting nervous about it. You know, I don't like to see it. But were you watching the whole thing? Mm-hmm. How did you feel with that? Were you like?
I was excited. It was a good moment. My sister was crazy the next couple of days.
Yeah, so was I. I went off on Facebook. I was generally quiet during the playoffs a little bit, but you know.
She loved the Cubs because our weird cable that we had in New Brighton when we were kids got WGN.
I remember that, yeah.
So all the Cubs games were televised.
Yeah, they were
there.
always on.
And my dad hated the Cubs. It was great. And so there was always the bickering between the two of
Harry
them.
Carey and all that stuff, they were always on. Catch him on WGN.
He was a big Mark Grace fan, though. He liked Mark Grace, but hated the Cubs.
Good player. It was good. It was so good for people like, especially my cousins all in Chicago who like been lifelong Cubs fans. My uncle out there who's 89, like you never thought he would see it. You know, it really made me like miss my grandparents because like my grandma's sister, my Aunt Mary, she was a big baseball fan.
Yeah.
I mean, she was even when she was like 89 years old, she'd sit there all night long and watch baseball. Like if the Pirates were on late or whatever, and then she would always tell me, she'd be like, your team's going to win one of these years. They're going to be okay. And I'm like, they're never going to win. Like, you know, even the 2003 thing, she was like, it came close. You know,
I blame Dusty Baker for that.
I do.
He
But
was terrible.
it made me, like, feel like, you know, like a kid again. You know what I mean? It was just really exciting. You know, it was great.
And they can win for the next 4 or 5 years.
Well, you know, that's the thing. I mean, they are pretty stacked with that. I think they're going to lose Dexter Fowler, who was a big key player for them. He's a great leadoff hitter. He gets on base a lot, but he wants a lot of money. Pitching wise, they get all their guys back.
Yeah.
You know, they had how many other World Series teams you ever see start that had 6 guys that were under the age of 24? I mean, that's crazy.
Doesn't happen.
You know,
I've
6.
seen it before.
You have? Yeah, you don't. Go back to Facebook. But, I mean, a lot of young guys, a lot of good guys. You know, it was nice. I really was happy for David Ross, who I thought was, you know, it was a nice retirement for him. He was a good guy. He really helped him on that team.
He did.
And surprisingly, you know, from what they were saying is, because Jason Hayward had such a bad year. He was so overpaid. $124 million, and the guy
It's that stupid batting helmet.
had 10 home runs the whole year and nothing. You know, he's such a good defender, though. He had a lot of good plays.
Yeah.
But he apparently was the one during the rain delay that poked the players aside, brought them in the weight room, which they don't normally do this, Like Joe Madden said, I've only seen players hold a meeting in all my years of coaching one time. And they didn't want anybody in there. They cut out all the coaches. And I guess he gave them this motivational speech, which really helped him.
He's been there many times.
Go there. He said, remember, you're the best. You've been the best team in the league all year long. Nothing's changed.
Yeah.
And, they go out. Schwarber hits a double, and then all of a sudden it goes off. Did you see the parade at all the day after?
No.
5 million people were at that parade.
It's crazy.
It's the 7th largest gathering of humanity.
Oh my god!
It's the largest sports parade ever, but it's the 7th largest gathering of human beings.
What were the top 4?
The top 4 was one was the funeral of the Ayatollah Khomeini. One was the other 2 were religious pilgrimages. One in Saudi Arabia and then one in India. I'll see if I can find them.
It was crazy. I mean, it was a huge parade. I mean, the tour that they went on, there was people. The Chicago police and like the city said, we don't want anyone on the highway. They're like, don't be on the highway, alongside the highway. Go to this, I think it's Grant Park or whatever in Chicago where they had this event at. And they said no. The announcers at WGN were like, no one's listening to the police. They're all on the side of the highway. Everybody was there. There were so many people. I didn't even think there was that many Cubs fans in Chicago because it's split between the White Sox and the Cubs.
The White Sox don't have near the fan base.
But God, it was unbelievable the amount of people that were there. It was huge. And of course, I thought it was cool. Chris Bryant was wearing a WWE Cubs belt that Triple H sent him. And I heard the story that he told about it. Said Triple H sends that belt like the day after. I'm sure they had the Cleveland things. They just changed the little things on it. Yeah. And he said when he got to Wrigley and they were all getting ready, he said like everybody was like had a trophy or was carrying something, and he's like a WWE fan. He went over and it was sitting in a glass case, and it like someone took it out of package and put it in the clubhouse, and he was like, "What is this?" And they were like, "Oh, the WWE sent it." He was like, "I'm wearing this," and they were like, "You're not allowed to wear that." They're like, "We're gonna put that in there." He's like, "I'm wearing this," and he opened it up and took it out and was carrying it, and they were all like, "You're putting that back. You're putting that back. Or you're not." And then he said he was carrying it, and he was like, "I'm gonna put this around my waist." And he was like, "This is great." So he started wearing it around. He said they were all like, he told some funny stories. I was watching him on whatever night show it was. He said that because he's getting married in December, that all these Cubs fans found where his registry is. Now they're getting all this stuff bought for him. They bought everything on his registry like 5 times over.
That's great.
He said they're just all these people are buying him gifts. And
that's funny.
So,
you want to know what the meeting the crowds were? Okay, so we got 30 million at number 1. It's the Kumbh Mela pilgrimage in India in 2013.
Yep, I was there.
30 million people.
The Aberdeen Festival in Iraq in 2014, that was 17 million people.
Yep.
Oh, I was at that one.
Yeah, Ken was at that one.
The funeral of Sian Anandori in India in 1969, that was 15 million
You were there.
people.
Yeah.
I wasn't born then. That was
my previous life.
Previous life, that's right. Funeral of Ayatollah Khomeini in 89 was 10 million people. Pope Francis in the Philippines in 2015, 6 million people.
Okay.
World Youth Day in Manila, 1995.
There's a lot of people in Manila not doing anything.
I thought these would be longer ago, these large gatherings.
Yeah,
these
are all recent.
Yeah, fairly recent.
Cubs World Series Parade, 2016, 5 million people.
Yeah, crazy.
Funeral for Nasser in 1970, 5 million people. And then the Rod Stewart concert in Rio de Janeiro, 1994, 3.5 million people.
Oh, Rod Stewart.
And rounding out the top 10, the Hajj pilgrimage to Mecca in Saudi Arabia, 2012,
well,
3 million people.
At least the Cubs beat Rod Stewart. So there you go.
Well, you never know. Rio gets crazy when people want to hear "Tonight is the Night."
It was a crazy event. I mean, it was a massive parade. It was nuts. And I'm going to keep buying merchandise for a long time here.
It's annoying. Every time I see Don, he's got a new Cubs shirt on.
Hey, I'm sorry, man. This is huge. This is a big deal. I'm gonna set. This may be another 100 years.
I'm kidding. I don't really care that
so
much.
As much as I can get my hands on, I'm buying it.
I brought you one from Chicago.
Yeah, it's great. I'm just going to keep buying it. So let me ask you this question, Ken. Do you think next year they could get there again?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know who in the National League can stop them. I know that Cleveland is going to have a tough team. I could maybe see it repeating.
Really?
Maybe Toronto. I think Toronto's a good team, and they deserve to get a little bit further than they should. Also, the Nationals could be contenders because apparently the Pirates might be trading Kutch to them.
To the Nationals.
That's
That
what-
would
that's
be
what-
big because they were good this year, too.
Yeah, there's talk about that. So if Kutch goes to a contending team, that's a big
Why
component.
are the Pirates going to get rid of Kutch?
It's fire sale time.
Oh,
It would be
jeez.
another 20 years of losing.
Yep.
Jeez.
the
How about you,
rebuilding
Brock? You
season.
think they could repeat, be there again?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Do they go from not winning in
To winning like 4 or 5 in the
Yeah.
next
Like
couple years?
Boston did.
Being like a dynasty after being nothing?
Yeah.
And then, you know what it'll turn into is everybody in America, other than you, wanted them to win.
Yeah.
It was like pulling for him. It was like
Then everyone
everybody
hated
was on this Cubs
Just like the Red
bandwagon.
Sox.
Then it'll
Yep.
turn into where everybody hates the Cubs.
Yeah. It'll be exactly a Red Sox
If the
situation.
stupid Cubs are in a World Series again, I'm not watching it. I'll be like, sorry, guys. Hey, second. We're winning another one. But hey, we will see. Well, you suffered through it. You got through it.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't hate the situation as much as I let on. I
Cubs
just like to
win.
have
I'm
that.
happy. I'm going to celebrate it for a long time. Because the Bears aren't going to win a Super Bowl for 108 years. But my last thing I want to say is I saw a lot of people jumping on the bandwagon, and that's what I did when I was 10 years old. I hope this sparks people jumping on. I don't mind young kids jumping. I like seeing adults do it. All of a sudden, they're huge Cubs fans. I saw a lot on Facebook.
That
But
annoys me.
I wouldn't mind seeing little kids do it.
But
if
you
this
want the
is-
next generation to come.
Yeah, next generation, you want to jump on this
Yeah.
time? That's how I did it. It's okay being a little different and doing something like that.
And I think this all makes us, as Pittsburgh fans, how much we take it for granted that our teams are
Oh, yeah. It's
except for the
definitely.
Pirates. I mean, but 79 still wasn't that long ago.
No, it's 30,
Yeah.
yeah, 37
But look
years.
at the success our other sports teams have had. I mean,
Right.
it's
Yeah.
great that
And it does energize a city. I mean,
Absolutely.
Even though Cleveland lost, I mean, that place is jumping. And
Yeah.
I mean, I know I hate baseball, but I was actually at a World Series game when they were really good in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
And I mean, it makes the city happier.
Well, they were
People are
both.
nicer.
Cleveland and Chicago are both good sports towns.
Yeah.
a lot of tradition.
They stick with their teams.
Stick with their teams. So it was good all around to see it. And let me just say, one of my favorite things for this too is I so enjoyed Pete Rose and Alex Rodriguez on post game shows because Pete Rose is a thing of gold. If you haven't had a chance to see any of it, you should just look up some of him. He was out of control and absolutely hilarious. He was like,
was.
I felt like he was drunk the entire time.
I think he was.
Him
Oh, he
bagging
was.
on A-Rod the entire time and everything he was saying, he was great. But what's hilarious about it is he was so wild and nuts, but then they have that one segment, I don't know if you've seen the YouTube video of it, where he explains how to hit a baseball, and like he got serious and started talking about how to get out of a slump and what he used to do. And A-Rod and Frank Thomas were like two of the best hitters of all time, were like in awe from it. They
Yeah.
sat there and were like, I never thought of that.
Well, it's like a master's class.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
this
he's
is
just
Pete
this
Rose.
is the
Yeah.
greatest hitter of all time.
Best hitter of all
and he
time.
just started telling these basic things, and like Frank Thomas was like, "Wow, I never knew that. Like, jeez, I never thought of it that way." And he's like, this
Frank
is what
Thomas
you
has
do.
not aged a day, by the way.
He looks exactly the same. Looks exactly the same. I did love all the Pete Rose videos they were showing when Kane was tombstoning him. They were showing those over and over as WWE stuff, and he's like, "I threw my goddamn back out," and that one. The best comment he had though is they were in Cleveland. It was Game 1 of the World Series, and he's going off about this old lady from the Cubs saying Jaeger bombs, and he's yelling Jaeger bombs out loud and all this stuff. And then they go, "We'll see you Tuesday night here in Cleveland." And then it gets quiet for a minute, and he goes, "Where the hell are we anyway?" And they were like, "We're still on air." And it goes off the air. He's like so confused. But he was classic, man. He was really good. But anyway, I hope Harry Carey's happy in heaven that the Cubs have finally won.
It's a good thing this wasn't a short.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely
we
a
went
full-length
long.
one.
All right. Thanks,
right.
guys, for hearing me out and listening to me and letting me do
Hey,
this.
as long as you're happy, Don.
I am
that's all that
happy, so
matters.
thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks,
All right.
Brock, for joining us. Lance,
Yep.
Gretchen,
Anytime.
good night. Go Cubs.
Cubs go! Hey Chicago, what do you say? The Cubs are gonna win today. Let's go! Cubs go! Go Cubs go! Hey Chicago, what do you say? The Cubs are gonna win today.